How can anyone, whether they want to work in a language school or privately from their own laptop anywhere in the world, create a rewarding and impactful career teaching English as a second language, even if they are just starting out or have no teaching experience or ability? Hi, my name is Lynette Kim, and here on the TESOL Talk podcast, I aim to answer that very question.
When I first heard about teaching English as a second language, I immediately, like a lot of people, thought, oh no, I'm not really good with grammar. What am I going to do? And it is a natural thing to think, because you think, if I'm teaching the English language, then obviously I have to teach literature, grammar points, all that type of thing. But actually, that's not the case. For most people teaching English as a second language, you're teaching online or you're teaching overseas or privately tutoring. And in these instances, students are after interaction with native English speakers or fluent second language English speakers. And that is for listening and speaking practice primarily, and then for writing. So they want to interact, they want conversational English. They're wanting to know how to communicate, how to hear English as it's spoken naturally by native speakers. And this means, all of the colloquialisms, all the expressions, all the sayings, all the shortening of words in contractions like gonna instead of going to, all the things that actually make English seem wrong. This is how people naturally speak, and that's what these learners of English need to understand when they hear people speak. And they need to learn to speak like that too, because they want to integrate into an English situation. And so they don't want to be speaking formalized English, how it is in a book, when that's not how people communicate in real life. So the concern about being a grammar teacher is unfounded in these instances. What is needed is a good understanding of how to put together conversational classes and how to keep students interested and to keep all of this relevant to life skills. And that's what you'll find for teaching English as a second language. Now, any component of grammar that's included perhaps in some PPT style lessons or in some course books, it's always one small aspect, and it's well explained in a teacher's book. So if you did find yourself overseas teaching and you had course books to teach and there was a little grammar point in there, it might be, some type of verb or talking about adjectives for describing, then everything's laid out there for the second language learner to actually learn it. So it's very simple. It's very broken down. And so you as a native English speaker are going to understand that immediately and be able to work with that. So don't fear grammar. Don't fear teaching English as a second language because you think you have to be a grammar teacher, because that's just not the case in most instances. And the instance where grammar is an important and integral part of English lessons is actually when you're teaching international students on student visas in English-speaking countries, like here in Australia, in language schools, ELICOS centres. That's where you'll find a grammar being an important component of an English lesson. And for a lot of people teaching English as a second language, that's not what they're doing, because that requires a degree in any field and also a certificate 4 or higher in TESOL. So on the whole, if you're thinking, oh, I want to teach online, I want to teach overseas, don't let grammar stand in your way. And even so, grammar is covered in TESOL courses so that you get a refresher. You've got a reference to look to if you feel you need to. And with the internet today, you can look anything up in 5 seconds if you ever felt the need. And if a student ever asks you a grammar question that you don't know, you can say, it's a fabulous question, and we will cover that in the next lesson, whether that's tomorrow or the day after, and have the students do some research in the meantime for homework about that grammar point too, so that you can all come in and have a good grammar discussion. Far better to not try and handle it if you're not sure, and say that it'll be dealt with in the next class.